The solar eclipse is next Monday, and Mercury is now retrograde, and the bundle is getting tighter all week. What does it all mean? Well, let's look at the charts together. I have a 39-minute video at the top of funastrology.com that explains all of it, including a look at the biblical prophecy of the red heifer. Go to funastrology.com. You know, typically when we come on here on this day, we say TGI Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Fun Astrology Podcast. Today, I don't know. We might want to say, God, I wish it were still Friday when it's Monday, but we'll see. We might want to just wrap our arms around today like a great big tree. Hi, everybody. It is Thomas Miller on the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Going to be quick today because I'm feeling this energy just like you are. In fact, somebody that you're going to be hearing more about and from here after all this energy clears. We've got some ideas that we're cooking up. Jenny from our Facebook group said this about this energy. She said, "It feels like I'm gripping both sides of the boat, watching the oars drift out to sea and waiting for the eclipse energy to subside. Feels a whole lot like letting Jesus take the wheel right now." And I told her I could not agree more. Couple of things going on. Don't forget about our April 20th webinar with Robert Glasscock on the big one. This is the one everybody's all up about the eclipse, and nobody's going to have their eye on the fact that Jupiter is still applying to Uranus, and that doesn't happen until April 20th. And Robert and I are doing a webinar on that day, and we'd love to invite you to join us. The information on that is at the top of funastrology.com. The other thing, eclipse-related, we are doing our normal level up 8 o'clock Eastern Sunday night. But this week, obviously, will be the eclipse meditation, so grounding, getting ourselves ready for Monday's big eclipse. That will happen Sunday night together. And we are moving that exclusively to the Fun Astrology YouTube channel. So that's where it will be. The link will also be in our Facebook group. Now, here's the big one that I wanted to talk about relative to this. I've been listening to some feedback that I put a question in our Facebook group about kind of the format of this. Particularly, I was asking about how much should we go into technical details and how much should be applicational, and was the balance there? So just listening to some of the comments, I am going to add something that we're going to start doing today, and we'll continue it, of basically a game plan. So a theme of the period, whatever period we're talking about today for the weekend, and then what's a 1, 2, 3, kind of what the meat you can sink into to respond to the energies in the sky. This is an important weekend because the moon enters Aries on Sunday, which puts it in position for the eclipse on Monday. So let's walk through this. There are only 3 things happening in the sky this weekend. Well, actually, I'm going to say 4 because there is one technicality about the oracle planet. That's the one that comes up in the sky before the sun. It is Venus, but the north node of the moon is technically right before the sun, like a degree, because it's eclipse season, so the sun and the nodes are very close together. Now, we had that exact aspect on Thursday, so the sun is pulling away, but the north node is sitting there, so we could definitely bring North Node symbolism into the days, and I think that's why we're feeling what Jenny described. And you know, this is exactly the picture in the sky, because on Wednesday we had that Venus-Neptune conjunction. If you didn't catch Wednesday's episode, I would highly recommend you listen to that, because that is a big piece of tapestry in this eclipse weekend. Then tomorrow, Venus sextiles Pluto, which we also talked about. Right inside the door, boom, there's Pluto. So allowing transformation, especially in areas that are important to us, is a theme of this weekend and of the eclipse. But put a couple of other things together. Remember when the North Node moved into Aries and we talked about this being a time of standing up for yourself and not being run over? But it also was that symbolism that was in some of the previous wars, such as the Revolutionary War in the United States. So we have this whole thing about moving toward conflict or moving toward some kind of an abrupt, especially ending with Pluto in Aquarius. One of the shadow sides of Aquarius, or I guess positive if it needs to happen, is to end and separate, to abruptly cut off. Well, there's Jupiter, Uranus. So you see how all of this is fitting together? And this is why these various things are happening. So here's the sequence for the weekend. The moon enters Pisces this morning, 7:12 Eastern time this morning. So we have this Piscean moon. That's our connection to our source. That's highly spiritual if we pull the mask off and we're not delusional about what's going on around us or within us. So if you're feeling watery, if you're feeling emotional, if you're feeling like you want a blanket, like you want to connect, like you want Jesus to take the wheel, that's the moon in Pisces. Tomorrow we have that Venus sextile to Pluto. The game plan on that is to allow transformation. We'll come back to that in a second. And then the third event sets up the eclipse. That's on Sunday morning, just 48 hours after the moon enters Pisces. It moves into Aries at 7:24 Sunday morning, and that will set up Monday afternoon's total solar eclipse on the new moon. So to me, here's a theme word for this weekend: contrast. The contrast between the Piscean moon today, the desire for non-conflict, detachment, contrasted to the moon entering Aries on Sunday. The shield is up, the sword is drawn, and the conflict, the battle is ready. And with Aquarius there with Pluto in between, the transformation, which could result in a separation. That's the eclipse energy in Aries. It's a new beginning and a new ending. So here's the plan. First of all, be careful. Second, join us Sunday night if you can for Level Up. We'll do all we can to get you ready. Third, prepare under Pisces. That's your spiritual connection. Then be as grounded as you possibly can to experience the eclipse on Monday in Aries, with the theme of possible endings and possible new beginnings. And then third, allow and even embrace the transformation. So if there have been endings presenting themselves, I've been through it, many of you have too, allow the transformation. Know that good is on the other side. Know that this is for ultimately our best. And as we are honed and refined and we go through these things, then we can help others when they're going through them as well. So I hope this helps, and I hope that you like this new little format that we'll include into these episodes when we talk about the conclusions of applying what we've just discussed is happening. Have a great one. I'll be back with Merriman tomorrow, Level Up Sunday night, and back here for Monday. You better know it. And don't forget, Mars conjoins Saturn 2 days later. Just don't forget that. Have a good one. Bye-bye.